Pune Eatouts was formed when the Swiggies and the Zomatos of the world were virtually non-existent. The only way to discover new restaurants was either by self-discovery or word of mouth. Today, we will meet with Aniruddha Patil, the founder and creator of Pune Eatouts, a community that brings together food experts, restaurateurs, and virtually anyone who loves food. Pune Eatouts is probably India's oldest and largest online community of over 2 lakh people, which also means in the real world. Join me as we talk to Aniruddha to discover how it was to leave his American dream, come back to India. Was it worth it? And the lessons he learned along the way. I'd like to welcome you to the show, Aniruddha. I think I've been hearing about you from common friends, and it's been a delight to hear your story. How you came from the traditional route, did an engineering, did an MBA, went in the corporate world. But I think your passion was, always food, and then you went into this food industry, and today you actually have a community of over 2 lakh people, as part of Pune Eatouts. So it's absolutely brilliant. Can you tell our audience a little bit more about PEO, Pune Eatouts? So we can start from there.
So PO Pune Eatouts, as we know it, started in 2005. So let me just give you some reference. Okay. So 2005, there are no smartphones.
Correct. No smartphones.
Internet is barely there. A lot of people know us through Facebook. Hey, it's 2005. There is no Facebook.
Facebook.
There is no Facebook.
Let that sink in. No Facebook.
No Facebook. Okay.
No Facebook.
So somebody asked a question about where do I eat. He asked in the morning. The only way you can answer it is when you go in the evening after your job and you open your computer and talk about events, getting people to the events. There are no payment gateways.
Yeah.
So we are that old, and how do we manage the whole thing? It's largely through the people connect. So PO, obviously, food is a way to channelize what we've been done, but it's largely about getting the whole human spirit, getting people together. So had it not been food, it would have been something else, because I myself have always been a people's person. I mean, it's irony that I call myself not exactly an extrovert, but always been a people person. So yeah, that's the start of PO.
So PO actually happened from Orkut, correct?
Orkut, yes.
So you actually started on Orkut.
November 2005, I started working. September 2005, I started PO.
Wow.
So
what was the inspiration? I mean, why? Just because you thought that you'll be able to do something, then connect with similar people who had food interests, or how did that happen? Or it was just, what was that brainwave? Or
the only way I will know about the restaurant is if I happen to travel there, somebody tells me about it.
Correct.
Or restaurant advertises in newspapers, which almost no restaurant did at that time.
Correct.
So there was no way for you to know, even in 2005, which is not so long back in history, right? It's not a prehistorical period. There was no way except the word of mouth to know about opening of a restaurant, somebody serving a delicious food. And me being a student earlier and staying in a hostel and all those things, I had a knack of trying new places. In fact, till 2005, I could go and say I tried perhaps all the things in Pune which one should try. Almost all. Of course, I'm exaggerating a bit, but that was the whole idea.
So what was the number on Orkut? I mean, did you have a community then?
Oh yeah, we were almost 7,000 Orkut, which was huge.
Wow, yeah.
Because not everybody was on social media at that time.
Correct.
So we were huge on social media even that time. 7,000 was a huge number. At the same time, like any tech thingy, we call about, let's say, early adopters, right?
Correct.
That time only early adopters were there.
And was this Pune?
Was it Pune only?
This was only Pune?
Only Pune. So early adopters, so many of them, on Orkut it was a different vibe altogether. So people, right now everybody on social media, right? So we talk about social media dilution, overdose, and that's a different discussion altogether. But that was a concentrated and the purest form of social media with all early adopters trying to achieve something together.
Correct.
So
when you moved to Facebook, how did that go? Did all your kind of users migrate there?
So you can't move a community, right? You can't
can't.
transport a community. You have to build it again. So Orkut went down around 2009, and honestly, I thought, yeah, we're done. I don't want to do it again. And meanwhile, that's what time I went on to do my MBA. I was out of Pune for a couple of years.
Right.
And for namesake, we started a community on Facebook, which we didn't pay any attention to. Then finished my MBA. I was in the United States doing my job, and I think living a perfect life out there. But I realized I have to get back to Pune to do Pune 8 hours.
So you wanted to come back to Pune for Pune 8 hours, is that?
I actually came back to Pune for Pune 8 hours from US. Yeah.
So you quit your nice, fancy
I didn't quit
American
that. I didn't quit
dream.
that time, but yeah, I took up a job back in Pune.
You changed the job.
I changed the job.
So, but you had a option to stay back.
I was staying there. Yeah, yeah.
So you could have carried on.
Yeah, yeah. That day they told me we're going to move here permanently and we're going to file your next things. I said, let me go back.
And when you said, let me go back and Pune 8 hours was the
Yeah,
purpose.
that was the reason. That was the primary reason.
So what was your number on Facebook at that time?
Hardly, maybe 100.
100.
Yeah. But
So you took a decision to move back to India, to leave your nice, comfortable, cushy job, the American dream, on 100 people. Is that?
Yes, 100 known faces.
100?
Because those 100 people I knew almost from Oakwood, they came searching for PO. So more than anything else, I figured I need to be around Pune and Pune 8 hours to be happy.
To be happy.
To be happy. So that was the early realization. I think it was around 2012, around 2012, 12, 13. Yeah.
So how would you define this happiness? I mean, in terms of what was it that?
So, see, it wasn't one-off thing, right? I already ran PO for 6-7 years.
Correct.
I had somebody who's doing engineering and working in IT. See, Pune is an IT city, right? Pune is an IT city. We have so many faces. So looking back, PO kind of gave me identity that time. I could even by 2006, 7, 8, we were featured in all newspapers. We were featured in all over some national dailies as well. People knew us. We were one of the pioneers in India. So that recognition, that attention, it mattered for a lot of things, which of course almost no job would give you, at least at that stage in life. So it wasn't honestly that a difficult decision for me to take.
So were you making any money that time?
That time, no, we're not making money.
So
We monetized PO only 2015.
So 2010, you were in the US, living the American dream. You had never ever made a single rupee. Is that true?
Not a rupee.
Not a rupee. Not a single rupee. You had a community. Yes. So you had a community. You had a community. You had experienced a taste of something.
Yeah.
Right? A taste of something. A taste of name, fame, recognition.
Attention. I'll call it a lot of
Attention,
attention. Recognition, yeah. So we know that motivating factor. Recognition has always been my motivating factor, even when I was doing my job. More than money or anything, it was always the recognition.
Recognition.
Always that one guy in the room. That was always the motivation.
Right. And that gave you a high. And for that, you took quite a gamble and came back. Did you face a lot of resistance from home?
To come back to Pune or in India, not much. Not for that. I think my family was happy by coming back.
Did you have a realization then that, so you've experienced two things, right? So you experienced the US techie life. And so you could compare.
Yeah.
You could compare because most often people don't know what they're missing. Right? They don't know. But you find it and then you know, okay, I've experienced it. And I really want to go deeper into this. So was that what you say?
So once you always want to travel, right? I mean, almost every person who works in technology or in consulting wants to go to US or any country he works in, want to experience it. But once you experience it, it's done, right? So it's okay, done. Okay.
So it's been what now? 7 years?
7 years out of corporate world, yes.
Right. So how has the last 7 years been for you?
Wonderful, yeah. I mean, a lot of mental peace, good amount of money, and I would say it's happiness of doing what you wanted to do. We never really decided to go that way. I mean, I did get quite a few offers very early when I started. I mean, a lot of people at least 5 to 6 people said, okay, I want to put some money. I said, I don't know what to do with your money. I don't need your money. So that's exactly how the interaction went. And see, all of the entrepreneurs have their own journey, their vision, own grandeur to it, and own purpose. And but another thing I always learned early was that investor money never comes cheap.
Correct.
So it always going to come on a cost, and just a very personal choice. One didn't need it and didn't really want to go that way. I'm very happy doing what I do. A lot of mental space matters to me. So it's always a trade-off between what you want to do, how much you want to invest, at what time in life you want to, let's say, slow down, at what cost, at how much money in your bank account. I think it's a very individualistic choices. Otherwise, there is almost no end. See, when you choose to be something, right? When you do something by your choice, two things happen. One, you do your best.
Correct.
If you don't do your best and what you chosen, then I don't know what else you'll do with it. That's one, and you want to continue to be happy in that. You can't choose to do something and be unhappy in it. So these are the two things we valued a lot. Of course, you need a growth, you need money, a lot of things needs to happen, and they keep happening. Problem is when only one aspect of things grow, and we are kind of a domain where we are always surrounded by people with a lot of things repeat themselves over a period of years, and then some events are happening, and food predominantly is supposed to be fun, right?
Correct.
So, and you can't take the fun out of it. So, of course, a lot of mundane things happen. So, it's not about doing new things every time. A lot of times, you can do the same thing in a newer way. That keeps you interested, because it's a very, very human centric thing.
So what is the most exciting thing about your business model? Your business model is all about community, food, growing that loyalty. So what is the most exciting thing that gives you that punch?
So the unique thing about business model is that business model was an afterthought. See, nowadays, if you notice, every business talks about communities. Every business wants to have a community around it. You are, I mean, right from a multinational to a small restaurant, everybody talks the word community. Oh, this is my community, these are my people, right? Our case was interesting. We had a community, and then we figured out what to do with it. So it was a reverse case. And since we had a community, it gives us a lot of freedom and a lot of time, space, and headspace to experiment things. At the same time, we have to be very, very conscious as well about what we do, because ultimately the people and the human aspect of it is always at the center stage. So anything we do, anything that let's say makes a rupee, has to have three angles to it in a community. And this is where I think most of the things in social media go wrong. One, it has to benefit the person who's paying. Somebody's always paying, right?
Correct.
It can be a restaurant, it can be a person. It has to benefit him. It should benefit the person who's taking that money. Some way, value or absolute anything. And when it benefits both of the stakeholders, then I should make some money out of it. I believe only in this case communities work. If you take, let's say in my case, let's say you take money for advertisement from a restaurant. It's benefiting me and the restaurant. The customer is not exactly getting anything out of it. So till date, we haven't taken any money for paid postings or anything. We never do that, which is the commonplace thing in social media, right? We don't do that. Correct. No paid post from our side happen on 28 hours. Or let's say then the customer is paying me something. What exactly? He won't pay me any which way. Why would he pay me without getting a value? So all the three parties involved, they have to benefit a bit. Then when you make money from social media, it's sustainable. So in terms of finance, you don't monetize your underlying, that is content, right? Ultimately, that's the currency. You create derivatives of content and then monetize it. So loyalty program is a derivative. We have our own ordering platform, which was started in pandemic. That's a derivative. So create derivatives and monetize those so that you don't have to monetize the underlying.
How is that going, your ordering platform?
Ordering platform went pretty well. So March 20, right? March 20, we know what happened. Everything just stopped overnight. And the best part is June 20, we were ready with the platform.
Wow.
Within 3 months from scratch. So sitting at home doing nothing, we built a ordering platform. Because that time every order counted, right? And that was not the only thing. Another thing was we didn't know where, nobody was delivering the food. Restaurants were delivering the food. Automation didn't work because you never knew where the containment zones are. So we cut down on technology. We said, I don't cut down the all the comforts of technology. All we're gonna do is generate orders. So we had a community. What is your strength? Community, right?
Community.
So we just generated orders. It was a dumb system that we developed. Only orders went. We didn't take payments. Payment were done by restaurant, either GPay or anything, and the restaurant delivered it themselves, meeting the people personally from with all the of course precautions and all. They build them, they maintain the connect as well. And this system worked beautifully for the whole 1.5 years.
Oh wow.
We thought we'll shut down after 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, or when everything normalized. We are still on. In fact, next week we are launching an automated version of it, which will take care of payments and delivery as well.
And so the audience that is doing this is primarily your community. I mean, that's
Primarily, of course, those are our go-to people.
right.
That's why the first principle is very, very important. Everybody involved in the transaction has to benefit.
So how does your community member benefit in this case?
Community members benefit, of course, PO card, I told you, they are the one who gets the most of the offers, value, or discounts on the
Right.
thing. On this ordering platform, so we were the first platform in India who claimed to be zero commission platform. And
From the restaurant side.
From the restaurant side. So when I'm saving roughly 30-35% of commission from a restaurant, they're more than happy to pass on 10-15% to the customer. So almost in 90% cases, on most days, we were the cheapest option. We still are.
I think your community is quite a loyal community, I think. I mean, I see like a lot of die-hard PO fans. I mean, that's typically, they're always like,
You're human, right? You always return good, always returns good.
Correct.
Of course, we have all our sorts of things. We have our good, bad, very rarely ugly things. But that's part of community, right? That's what
do you do a lot of offline meetups?
we do. We've been doing it since 2006.
And so on average, how many people show up for these kind of meetups?
So there are various, some are smaller tables, some are longer, it's bigger tables like meets. Almost 100 plus, we have done that many as well. But 70, 80 is, we do it every quarter, and 70, 80 people normally turn up.
And do you normally attend all these meetups?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah, all of them.
Is that one of your pleasures of business?
Oh, totally. I mean, in fact, business happened because of that. We did meetups for 9 years.
9 years.
So just floating something, get a restaurant deal. Again, let's go back. No payment gateways. So you don't know who's paying. People are paying on the floor. So you always guess the count and kind of commit to a restaurant. So it's been all kind of learning and fun.
But do you see some of these cases in is your community more active online, offline? I mean, how is it? Or is both?
Now both. Of course, it started online, but I think now both. Now people have gotten used to having those same. I mean, a lot of people have friends out there. I mean, I for one met my wife on Pune out, so can't really.
Sorry, say that again.
I met my wife on my community itself, so I got married to one. So that's, I mean, call it leading by example.
So in your meetup, people actually met in the real world, right?
In real
They
life.
made in real world. Now that we're 17-year-old, the kids who were born 17 years back, now they are friends with the other kids who were born around the same time. So we are already into generation 2. So
Wow.
So we are already a second generation now.
So you probably might be one of the oldest communities in India.
I would think so. At least oldest surviving.
Oldest surviving online.
I can't think of anything that is still on or started before us. I can't think of anything. Of course, there are many, but I don't. I think we are the oldest. One of the 50 people who decided best restaurant in India for Condé Nast. So we do that. With again, no background in food. I go to catering college and I kind of teach there, mentor to a lot of hotel management students. I get to interact with a lot of chefs and let's say share my inputs on their food that they do. So and without study. So either you study or you learn things.
Correct.
So let's say we learned it.
So did you actually? So all this is learning by experience, right? I mean, did you
All of
ever?
it. I didn't do any culinary school.
Never felt like it.
I
I
feel
mean,
like
now
never,
after
never.
I mean, how have you really gotten the technicalities of it, or not really?
Technicalities. See, a lot of times when you study the same thing, you become like everybody else. So sometimes it's good to not study things and be an outsider. Be it any
And
domain.
have a different perspective.
Have a different perspective. Because the thing that my profile allows me to do is to understand the tech behind it. My education, I did consulting for a while. It allows me to see beyond things, and all the journey and interaction and travels allow me to understand a little bit of food. So I don't think there are many people who understand numbers, understand technology, understand food, understand people in the industry. So it becomes one unique profile to add value and very difficult profile to sell. So let's call it jack of all. Maybe someday master of a few.
What do you define work as?
I don't know. It's very difficult now. It's my honestly, my life is very intertwined with work and thing. So either I can tell you I'm working almost 18 hours a day, or I can tell you I just work 2 hours a day.
Have fun and
I have fun
because it's
for-
all fun as well.
It's not all fun for sure, but it doesn't feel like work. I mean, let's say talking to somebody, mostly that remains that part's of a big work chunk. So I'm going on social media. I can't tell you I'm working, right? I'm writing a let's say food experience, and I'm me telling you I'm really working. So it's not really conventional working. So either I'm working 18 hours, but I'm always connected. I mean, so that mentally I'm always working. But if I define it in the conventional terms,
So it's a very interesting paradigm, right? What somebody thinks as work is actually not work for somebody else.
so maybe
Depends on what side of the spectrum you are
So in
at.
conventional terms, I work let's say 2 hours a day, but I'm always connected. I'm always doing something. So it's almost I mean, or even on holidays or vacation, something is always
And
happening.
that is not stressful.
That is not to me. My family maybe yes. But yeah, by and large, I'm
Right.
lot of
So
times.
well, there's a good, like any technology, right? There's a good and the bad. So was it a big challenge for you when you started getting some hostility on social media?
I think we do a great job at containing it. And with us, it has happened over the years, right? So, there's always the education factor. Certain groups get educated, they educate others and all. So when you grow suddenly, let's say you are 2 lakh people in a week or something, that becomes problematic. But we categorically and consciously grown very slowly. I mean, we took that decision one point of time to grow very slow. I mean, we are 2 lakh people now, but had we accepted everything that came our way, maybe we would have been 5 lakhs. So it was a
What do you
conscious-
mean by accepted anything? I mean, did you
the
actually?
request, the member who want to
So
join.
you actually rejected people?
Oh yeah, more than 50%.
You actually reject people?
More than 50%.
What is the criteria?
A lot of them. I mean, more often than we get it right. Sometimes we can get it wrong as well. But of course, somebody looking aggressive on a profile, something very politically motivated.
And the membership is free.
Membership is free.
Membership is free. Anybody can join.
Anybody can join. So common sense, anything. So anybody in person, as per your judgment, you wouldn't want to meet in person. We would say, okay, let's. And somebody really very serious, he always tells you, I want to join. He always makes sure he or she always want to send request again. So when you happen, you always let people in. You want more people, right? You want more people, but want to
You
maintain
also
sanity,
want this
sanity as well.
sanctity as well. Yeah. The right energy, the right.
Common sense. I mean, anything that you would do, I don't think it's a rocket science. The crux is to do it diligently every single day and keep doing it. That is where the thing lies. But otherwise, I think most of us have a similar algorithms.
Right.
So do you think the Aniruddha of
2016 and the Aniruddha of 2022, 2023 now, if you had to take one thing, right, one thing which is different, what would you say is different?
A lot, yeah. I mean, understanding all this people's opinion and things, I think that makes you a much balanced person. See, a lot of times your reaction doesn't really help the cause. It either aggravates it or keeps it unchanged. So once you understand that, you know that you are just wasting your energy. And a lot of times, be it online, in social media, or in personal life, it's just timing that matters. Whenever you think you want to react immediately, just take a break. We all read this, but seldom practice this.
Correct.
Just don't respond to something for a while. Things take care of themselves most of the times, especially on social media discussions. Don't reply something for 30 minutes. It dies down also, the sanity is back, sanity is retained. But when if you're going to go getting into a loop and trigger happy, it never stops. So everybody will agree with this, but when it comes to you, we don't
Implementing.
follow it. It's impulse. So I think that's been a big learning, even in personal life. You don't want to react, just give it time, it dies down.
What would you advise us?
Right? We had this idea, we had this passion. Don't know if it work. What would you advise them? What is your, what is the single most advice that you would give to people?
First thing I would tell anybody, everybody is to check if it's really your passion or you just think you like it. A lot of things you like think from the other side. It's not easy to be on the while actually living that thing. I would say if you're very serious, give it time. Maybe work over there with some less in terms of restaurant. Maybe go to a restaurant. You want to make movies, work with somebody. Give it enough time to decide if it's really your passion. In most cases, when passion turns a business, even before first rupee is earned, passion is out of window. You're paying rent, you're mentoring people, or a lot of things happen. All sorts of business, right? So my only advice you be whatever it is, give yourself time. Maybe let's work with somebody who's already into it, or work under somebody, or make a prototype if it's a technological or a product kind of thing. Just be sure it's your passion. When you're sure, things work out. But a lot of time, passions come out of boredom and doing something else. See, a lot of people in our generation, in our country, studied what they didn't want to study. Things are changing, of course, but let's go back. Anybody who's like 35 plus or 40, most of us, what do you want to do? Do engineering and do it after that. so, so engineering was the best level of education for most of the people. So, but now things are changing. Now alternative careers are coming there. People like you, people like me, a lot of others have done something beyond what they learned. So now people know. Now we know that alternative careers, or there is not a very strong bondage between what you study and what you want to do. So we are learning that. So just make sure that is your real passion.
Yeah.
Are you committed to it?
I think we can do it, right?
Yeah.
All it takes, and today with I think online learning and everything, it is so easy to learn a new skill, learn a new technique, new trend, or whatever, and then.
So give it time. Don't get too much involved into it. Of course, it depends on everybody's risk-taking capacity as well. But by and large, be sure it's your passion. It's not your way out from what you are already doing.
Right.
A lot of time it's just a way out of what you don't like.
Good. So thank you so much, Aniruddha. Thank you for being on this show. It's been a pleasure having you.
Absolute pleasure.
It's been a pleasure having you. And like I said, you're one of the inspirations of the kind of people. Absolutely different. I don't think anybody could have explained how this could have or would have turned out. So thank you for being the role model that you are.
Yes. Happy to be here.
Thank you, Aniruddha.